Hey YouTube, New York Half-Ass Prepper here. Today we're taking a look at a couple of rifles that I picked up recently. These are both of these rifles are Argentine Mausers. This one here is the short rifle, or the cavalry version. If you notice these two holes here, I think this was actually an engineer's carbine. But it's missing the bayonet mount up there, and actually this little saddle ring is in the engineer configuration. If it was down here, switch with this guy, then it would be the cavalry configuration. I believe the cavalry just had that, and the engineer one is supposed to have a sling swivel on here to match up with the thing. So if I ever find the parts, I'll try to put it back into the correct configuration. And it has typical Argentine Mauser top handguard, which is held on, but it's a couple pieces of wire, which I had to add. It was missing that when I got it. And these rifles are cool. They're 1891 vintage. I'm not sure exactly what year this one was manufactured. I didn't look it up. Did not look it up yet, but it had has a detachable box magazine, which I don't know if it was the first, but it was 1891 was pretty early on for detachable box magazines, I think. The top rifle is the 1891 Argentine Mauser long rifle, and basically it's this smaller rifle lengthened, or actually that's the original one, and then they shortened it for the cavalry version, which was the convention back in those days. They're still riding horses around because the automobile had not been invented yet. This one I picked up in an auction. And you can see it's got the very familiar Argentine action on there. And it has ladder sights, ladder rear sight on there. And it has a regular front sight sticking up. And that one's not even guarded, but this guy's guarded, the cavalry one. And a regular sling swivel, cleaning rod, typical things that you'd see on a bolt-action rifle of a Mauser variety. It's chambered in 7.65 Argentine, which is this round right here. This is a 30-06 round for comparison. And one of the cool things about these rifles is because they're 1891, they are not considered modern firearms by the BATF. So you can have this delivered, shipped right to your house if you purchase it from the correct place. You can actually expect to pay a 40 to 60% premium for guns of that vintage, just because of that reason, is that they ship right to your house without FFLs and without nicks. This one slipped through the cracks, and I found this at my gun store. The guy, he made me a deal and talked me into it. And then once I had this one, I had to obviously get the matching long rifle that goes with it, which I was able to find at an auction. And it turned out that this one is almost mint condition. It's really good shape for its age. So I'm going to clean them all up. I have had this one apart. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, if I can find these parts or not. I may fill it in and put it back in the cavalry configuration, or try to restore it back to the engineer's configuration. But I believe the engineer's configuration was a modification of the original cavalry design. Some of you Mauser fans could maybe school me on that. And it's some cool differences. Cavalry has a bent bolt, whereas the long rifle is straight. Safeties operate the same on both rifles, pretty much identical action, other than that bolt handle. And this has little baby tiny sights, little ladder sight. And it's actually, I've shot this one. It's actually a pretty formidable round. It's actually pretty good. So it's totally suitable for deer hunting or home defense or whatever you want to do with something like this. But this is a couple of cool pieces of history. Been on a kick collecting Mausers lately, and this is just two of them that I've added to the collection, along with the Chilean Mauser and the Yugo Mausers and the other ones that I've made videos about. So here we go. This is the 1891 Argentine Mauser. I highly recommend them if you could find them, because they are a piece of history. They didn't see service that long. I think they came out with a new design in 1909, circa 1909, I think, before World War I. They replaced it, but I don't know, for almost 20 years, this is what the soldiers in Argentina and the other countries that you know, were using their stuff. That's what they had. And another interesting thing is that this one seems like, for whatever reason, the supply chain, this one keeps the seal. These models, everyone I've seen and seen videos on, still have the Argentine seal, and the long rifles have them ground off. Because I don't know what the story was with that was, but that seems to be the case when you find them. So your mileage may vary. So that's it. I'm out.